we honestly may never see something like this again. So UMass is playing against Penn State, and a good night the weather looks worse than UMass's offense. And I would say, hey, no offense here, but trust me, UMass already had the lack of offense covered. So we get our third punt of the day in the first quarter because Penn State was doing their best forward impression with a little bit of stalling out unnecessarily. But number 25 was going to do no such thing as he gets given a little piddly-wink pitch and catch punt by the punter as he makes one guy, two guy miss, and then runs down the sideline completely untouched, which is a little confusing because the ball was on the left hash, and I can tell it's supposed to be kicked to the left side of the field, and it's right down the left alley. So where the rest of the UMass coverage team is absolutely beyond me. But let me get back on track because now we're later in the game. The Minutemen are just trying to hold out for one more minute, man, as they're forced to punt, and of course, when it rains, it pours. So a Penn State punt blocker makes like my doctor and is putting his fingers all sorts of places they shouldn't be, but this Massachusetts-based punter is just wishing it was a prostate exam instead of what he's getting, which is that ball slap. And honestly, it turns out good for UMass somehow as it bounces off of a blocking Lion to get scooped up by the Minutemen. But it just kind of is showing how badly everything is going for them, even though this one turned out all right. But now we're halfway into the third. Surprise, surprise, there's still a big old goose egg on the scoreboard, and the punter puts the ball directly in the dead center of the field, which for those who may not be a special team savant is a very bad thing. There's also about as many people surrounding the returner as UMass has fans at their games, so he's like, alright, why shouldn't I keep returning it? And we get to see some of the softest, weakest, most pitiful tackling attempts ever. I mean, each and every one of these guys is probably getting an ass chewing today that not even a cannibal could provide, because what the hell are we doing here? And the long snapper, I'm sorry, I gotta clown you a little bit, man, because how are you at the 35-yard line right now? You snapped it from the 45, immediately released, the ball was punted and then returned, and at the point that you're making contact with the returner, he has traveled further from where he caught the ball than you are from the line of scrimmage. Let that sink in. Okay, anyway, now that we've gone through this, there's still so much worse it can get. Let me take you to the very next punt where, believe it or not, this ball isn't cleanly hit. It ends up in the middle of the field with low hang time, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's gonna be another big return. And yes, but not to rag on the long snapper again, but dude, you're attempting to dive forward at this returner at the 45, and you kicked it from the 32. How are you only 13 yards downfield? Okay, I'm cool. I'm sorry. I know there was a guy blocking you, but we gotta get you like a spin move, a rip, something so you can get off these blocks. But if you thought that just 2 punt return touchdowns and a block punt was bad enough that I wanted to highlight it, you're somewhat right, but it's the fact that Penn State's punt return unit accounted for more total yards than the entire UMass offense. And if that's not what my channel's here to celebrate, I don't know what I'm doing. So hell yeah, Penn State, keep kicking ass.